Okay, this is just a couple of cautions about when you're entering numeric values for users. A few of you may have come across the main problem before, so try and be careful about how you prompt users to give you information. So I'm partway through running this program. I'm about to put in my number fields, and the first one I'm going to enter is how old are you in years? Well, he's 23. Sorry, 50, and he wants to put years on the end, so he says years. And because of the way we've coded it, what often happens is it'll move on and we can enter the height in meters. And now I get an error. Debugging. So we look at the last line to tell us where the error is. And the error is value error. Invalid literal for an integer. So we've put in something that it's saying should be an int and it wasn't. The base 10 just means it's in terms 10. And what it's saying is this string can't be recognized as being an integer. And the problem is years on the end. Commonly, you don't ask users to enter the units. It's bad practice in for a couple of reasons, but it becomes significantly more difficult to take user input if you're asking them to give you the units as well. So it's normally best to prompt and say, we need years. So the error this is generating, it's saying it's actually in line 14. The age input is years. Now, a common way you'll see this error be dealt with is a lot of people will actually put these two as an int and a float around the input. It's not a bad idea. I just am avoiding it here because I'd like to get this. We get the input here, we process it, we give out our values. So I could actually process the age up above as I'm getting the value in and get the height at the same time. That way I'm not going to enter lots and lots of data and then lose my values. So now if I run this again, forename, still Frodo, Baggins is the surname, where do you live? The Shire, how old are you in years? And now if I do 50 years, it will give me an error immediately, not expecting me to go on and do more. There's a couple of things you can do with that. You could actually write something called a function that would take an input for years and make sure you enter the right sort of thing. If not, it will prompt you again and it will keep going round. So later we will be dealing and stopping these errors from coming up. And there's a number of options of what we will do. I'm still going to take the inputs and keep them separate. So I'm going to put my code back to where it was for my examples. So this is where we are up to, is we're now getting the values as numbers. They're coming in quite cleanly. If you do accidentally say, I would like to put in a number of years at the top as a decimal, it actually handles it quite nicely normally. So let's put in Frodo, Baggins, the Shire. How old is he in years? He's being a little bit more pedantic and saying I'm 50.75. And how tall are you? 1.2 meters. Oh, it didn't like the decimal. It's strange because if you do it as a string literal, normally it goes in. So what it didn't like is the 0.75. It is not an integer. So what we might need to do is think about, do we want to turn it into a float first and then turn it into an integer? That would then possibly work. If I try print int of 10.75 as a float, it rounds it nicely for me. And let's just check that last one if it's a negative. Okay, so just be careful about that. The string can't be interpreted, but I could go via float and then turn it into an integer to give me a nicer value. Okay, so that's the end of that video.